the nationality because they hate Cameroon. And then now they are finished and they are trying to come back. Then you say you cannot come back because you're an American, you're a French. That's wrong. If we don't want to give them double nationalities, there is a way out. We can give them permanent residence permits. Because with that now, if they want to come to Cameroon, they don't need to go take a visa from the Cameroon embassy. You can imagine a Cameroonian going to the Cameroonian embassy to take a visa to come to his country. That's bullshit. So with this thing now, it's very bullshit. It's total bullshit. So they can now fly to the country. They can fly to the country at midnight, go back the next morning, fly again back the next day, and then things begin to happen. And then we give them the opportunity to come and begin to create industries in Cameroon. Not just coming back to come and eat corn and groundnut. No. To come and set up industries in Cameroon in collaboration with the youth that they left behind here. And then improve on the health sector, improve on the agriculture, improve on the educational system and so on. We need them to come and infuse what they have been learning over the years into our system, so that as we now recraft the new system, we have enough oil in the system to drive it forward. Is it making some sense?
Doctor, you are a curriculum developer, like I mentioned earlier. What piece of advice do you have for most students who just enrolled this year at different higher institutions in the country?
Let me say this, it is important.
Because the message might be coming late now. Most of them have already enrolled, probably to study history.
Yes, it's not late. You can either correct yourself now so that you have a better life for the next 40 years, or you continue in your lack of understanding, and then you will pay the price. So, because you will be surprised, there are a lot of people, there are some students who are studying with us who have master's degree, and have stayed out hoping that they could beat the system, but it doesn't work. And then they realize that they were backing the wrong horse, and they come and sit down and humble themselves and start from level 1, studying the right thing. Are you getting me? So you can pay the price. You can actually make a good choice through what do you say? By the advice that someone is giving you. Say, take this route.
So what is that piece of advice?
If you want to go through the machine yourself and find it for yourself, that is getting the facts through experience, you will pay with a lot of time and resources and so on. Don't forget that when you go to university, you are studying, it's time that you're putting in, it's financial means and so on. You'll be putting financial means and time in the wrong things, and at the end of the day, you will not feed yourself. This is it. Don't go to the university to study subjects. Standalone subjects. Those standalone subjects are not helping anybody, any day, any time. They don't.
So let's say, for example, I am studying history now. I enrolled to study history. How would I study that history to come out and do something that will put food on my table? That is the point. That's the point. I'm not saying we need historians.
Yes. We need people who have studied physics, maths, all these things, okay? And if anything, actually we need more people who study maths, who study physics, who study chemistry, who study biology, so that they can build a pool of children who will be following this STEM education. Are you getting what I'm saying? But now, if you go and look at our secondary schools and our university settings, 80% of our children are into the arts. That's why when
what explains that fact? Is it because the sciences are difficult?
Yes, difficult in quotes. It's because we have not had very, very good teachers who teach the children the sciences in a way that they can understand. You see, because we try to just imagine things and we teach science as if we were telling a story. Science is not storytelling. You demonstrate it and children see it. You know, when I was in secondary school in CPC Bali with my mates many years ago, we were taught by some teachers who came from Holland, and they were teaching us the way they teach their children in Holland. That's why we think differently and we work differently. I mean, in CPC Bali. And we were in secondary school, we were doing a lot of experiments, we could do a lot of things, we could tell you a lot about we could tell a lot. In fact, by the time we left high school, we were feeling like small engineers. You understand? It's a mindset kind of thing. And so science is not something that you're going to be, oh, the world is round. And then people are imagining the world is round and so on. All those kind of things. No. You demonstrate it. What is the evidence that the world is round? What is the evidence that there's gravity? What is, you answer it and you let children do it. And then it's not very difficult. You start these things from nursery school and the children grow with it. But when you have even teachers of science who were taught by some other teachers of science who were not very good. So at the end of the day, we have teachers of science who are not very good, and therefore the children can catch it. So what you are saying is that we have to reformat our teachers of science. It's making some sense. And then take many of these students who have graduated with mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology from our universities, and economics, and then give them some other extra classes, like for 1 year in practical work, in how to deliver and so on. And then these are the ones now that should be teaching in our primary schools and secondary schools. They will build a new crop, and those, we make sure that in those primary and secondary schools we have laboratories to get the children going. It's very important.
Yes, you're just talking in the light of reforms, and what kind of reforms do we need in our university system such that graduates can leave and become self-employed?
This is it. For any children who is going to any university or higher institute, the question is, what am I going to study? Ask yourself that question. Write it down. Write a composition and you answer these questions. The first question is, what? So we are going to answer 3 questions. What, why, and how. These 3 questions. What is it I'm going to study? The next question is, why am I studying it? You must answer the why. Don't just study for the sake of, am I going to study that subject because my friends are in that faculty? Why exactly am I studying history? Why am I studying geography? Why am I studying women and gender, these things? Why am I studying microbiology? Why am I studying physics? Why am I studying mathematics? You must answer the why question. Write it down. It's not just something, write it down. Then in the third part is, how am I going to study it? How am I going to, how am I going to study? Because the way you study is important. And how am I going to use the knowledge at the end of the day? What will I be doing with it? It's very important. If you just go to the school for the sake of going, at 30 years when you have had a PhD, you still realize you'll be crying on the streets.
And when you answer the why now, yes, and you come out, the reality is there, yes, to confront you.
Yes.
And if reality now becomes more than you, what, yes, will you do? Because knowing is one thing, the reality too is,
yes, and check the reality before you start. Let's say I want to go and study banking and finance. Then look at all the children that have gone to banking and finance and have studied and have come out. Find out what percentage of them are working in banks. Find out how many of them have opened their own banks. Find out where they are. You will realize that 95% of them are hanging on the streets. You getting what I'm saying? Because you cannot just go opening banks and banks and banks. Yet, the problem is not opening a bank. The problem is, how do you create money that you put in the bank? So a lot of people will study, let's say, banking and finance. But if you try to ask them, how do you make money that you can put in the bank, they don't know. And many of our children will study banking and finance. Yet the man who makes the money is the Bamileke man. And the Bamileke man is not going to bring his money and come and give you to keep in your bank. Because keeping the Bamileke man keeping his money is the least of his headaches. Keeping the money is not a problem. So you are waiting for him to bring the money for you to keep. You are wasting your time. So the problem is, how do you make money? So, rephrase it again. What am I studying? How am I going to make money or anything out of it? And how am I going to feed myself? How am I going to feed my family? It's very, very important. And remember again, another way to rephrase all this is, to put it in context, is this. Nature, when I say nature, I'm not talking of the civil service, I'm not talking of something. Nature is the one that pays us for our job. You can say you are working here at the TV station, you are paid from the TV station. So this TV station is part of that nature paying you. So nature pays us not because we have a certificate. Nature pays us for our ability to solve problems. So in studying, identify a problem that you are going to be good at solving and for which nature is ready to pay you. Are you getting? That's the simple formula.
Thank you, Dr.
And then when you are looking for it, look for that one that you love, so that when you are working, it's like you are playing. Are you getting me? So work for you becomes play, not drudgery. It's very, very important that we keep that in mind.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ngwanyam, for answering my call this day once again to talk higher education and the reforms that needs to be carried out in this sector to better develop the economy of Cameroon.
Oh, thank you very much. It's very, very important to better develop the economy of Cameroon. We have to change very radically, because you see, we spend all our money importing things from abroad when we ought to be producing things here and exporting. And if we don't change that paradigm, we are going to be very poor. And the only way we can create jobs for our youth is for our youth to be able to create jobs here, and not, we have to stop selling raw materials and begin now to sell but finished goods. And before I drop the microphone, just to say that even as we speak, Germany needs 250,000 nurses, and they would employ them. America needs millions. Canada needs them. Britain needs them. Germany, like I said, Germany needs them. So it's about the way you think and what you want to do.
Thank you.
Solve a lot of problems.
Thank you for coming, Doctor.
Okay.